Discover the dark secret of excessive generosity. Do you believe that being generous can be harmful? Get ready for a deep philosophical journey as we explore the dark secrets of unreasonable generosity. In this video, we'll show you how extreme kindness can surprisingly undermine your own happiness. Stay tuned for a revelation that will change your perspective on generosity forever. Without delay, let's get to the video. The deception of limitless generosity. Imagine that you are an extremely generous person, always ready to help, give, and serve others. It seems noble, doesn't it? However, Stoic philosophy invites us to question whether this extreme generosity is actually beneficial in all situations. One of the pitfalls of unlimited generosity is that it is often accompanied by a lack of personal boundaries. You put yourself in the background, ignoring your own needs and well-being for the sake of others. While this may seem altruistic, it can have negative consequences not only for you, but also for the people you are trying to help. To be truly generous, it is important that we first take care of ourselves. After all, if you're not well, how can you effectively help others? Ignoring your own limits can lead to emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion. Additionally, by overextending yourself and trying to please everyone all the time, you can make yourself vulnerable to manipulation and abuse by people who take advantage of your generosity. The balance between being generous and taking care of yourself is key to maintaining healthy, long-lasting relationships. The law of balance. Stoic philosophy, by highlighting the importance of balance, reminds us that all virtues, including generosity, must be practiced in a moderate and sensible way. It is the so-called virtue of the environment that the Stoics defend. The law of balance warns us against two extremes. Excessive generosity, as mentioned previously, being excessively generous can lead to physical and emotional exhaustion. When we give away too much of our energy, resources, and time without taking care of ourselves, we can end up weakened and unable to continue being an effective source of help for others. Lack of generosity. At the opposite extreme, a lack of generosity or greed can be detrimental to our personal growth and relationships. Stoics believe that completely closing ourselves off from others and not sharing the good things we have is also a mistake. Therefore, the law of balance encourages us to find a healthy middle ground. This means being generous, but not to the point of harming our own happiness and well-being. We must recognize our own limits, set priorities, and learn to say no when necessary, without feeling guilty. Maintaining a balance in generosity allows us to help others sustainably and genuinely, while also taking care of ourselves. It's a way to ensure that our generosity is a source of strength and virtue rather than a weakness that wears us down. The impact on your happiness. Excessive generosity, despite being seen as a virtue, can have significant implications for our own happiness. Here are some ways this happens. Emotional and physical exhaustion. When we overextend ourselves to help others, we run the risk of exhausting ourselves emotionally and physically. The constant demand on our energy and resources can leave us tired, stressed, and overwhelmed. Resentment. A lack of balance in generosity can lead to resentment. As we repeatedly sacrifice ourselves for the sake of others, we may begin to feel that our efforts are not adequately recognized or reciprocated. This resentment can harm our relationships and our sense of contentment. Neglecting our needs. By focusing exclusively on the needs of others, we can neglect our own physical and emotional needs. This can lead to personal dissatisfaction and a feeling of emptiness, even if we are helping others. Existential frustration. In some cases, extreme generosity can lead to a feeling of existential frustration. It can make us question the purpose of our actions and whether we are truly living according to our own values and goals. It is important to recognize that generosity is not inherently harmful, but when practiced without limits and discernment, it can have negative consequences on our happiness and well-being. We must seek balance, remembering that taking care of ourselves is not selfish, but a necessity so that we can be effective sources of help for others. Finding this balance means we can continue to be generous in a sustainable way, where generosity is a source of joy and virtue, rather than a burden that undermines our happiness. The Stoic Solution. Stoic philosophy offers some valuable approaches to balancing generosity and taking care of yourself. Knowledge of yourself. The first step is self-knowledge. Stoics emphasize the importance of knowing our own limits, desires, and needs. This helps us understand when we should say yes and when we should say no in a conscious and balanced way. Virtue of the mean. Stoics defend the virtue of the mean, which involves finding a healthy balance between two extremes. In the case of generosity, this means being generous, but not to the point of harming our own well-being. It is the search for moderation. Prioritization and discernment. Conscious generosity involves prioritizing the most important needs and discerning where our resources, time, and energy will be most effective. This doesn't mean we should stop helping others, but rather that we should do it more strategically. Learning to say no. The ability to say no when necessary is crucial to maintaining balance. Saying no is not selfish. It is a form of self-preservation and self-care that allows us to continue being generous in a sustainable way. By adopting these Stoic strategies, we can turn our generosity into a positive force in our lives and the lives of others. This allows us to be benevolent in a conscious, balanced and sustainable way, ensuring that our generosity is a source of joy and virtue, rather than a burden that undermines our happiness. Thank you for joining us on this exploration, and may Stoic philosophy continue to light your path. Subscribe to our channel to continue receiving new valuable content.